Welcome to our first installment of Vice Behind the Research, where we find somebody's research we like and go behind it. In this episode, we'll be looking at the work of Dylan Grosz, a Stanford student in a class called Power, the Rhetoric of Documentaries. But before we do that, here's a montage of leftover shots with some hip-hop music in the background to keep you engaged. Welcome to Stanford University, home to around 17,000 students. From topics in computer science to Irish studies, this institution provides its students with tons of opportunities for research. This is Branner Hall, Dylan Grosz's living quarters. Here, he very well could have done a large portion of his research. He's most likely up in his room right now, still doing research. So let's see what he's up to.
Hello?
Is Dylan here?
Oh, you caught him at a bad time. He's in class right now. But he should be back any minute. Come on in.
Thank you.
So, is this some sort of research project? Like, are you guys in his power class?
Oh, hardly. We're from Vice, and if it's no bother, I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions about Dylan's research process, since you're his roommate?
Yeah. Roommate. But go ahead, ask what you want.
Okay. Then when did you first know when Dylan was doing research?
Well, normally we have a roommate movie night every Sunday night where we watch a gritty, critically acclaimed drama. But during one of our movie nights several weeks ago, Dylan came barging in and insisted that we watch this Vice hip-hop documentary called Noisy Atlanta.
And how did that go?
It was good. It looked really nice, but Dylan was getting really pretentious and he kept insisting that Vice and hip-hop were intrinsically authentic, that one bolstered the other's authenticity. His words, not mine.
Authentic, huh? I mean, I don't want to brag, but this Vice thing, it's about as real as it gets. I mean, what we're doing right now, really real.
Yeah, there's this one episode of it called...
Are you guys talking about episode 8 of Noisy Atlanta? Rich gang, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Oh, wow. Hey Dylan, we were just talking about you. Yeah, after watching that specific episode, Rich gang, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, I realized the interwoven nature of Vice's use of the narrative when talking about different rappers and keeping a conscious eye on the economic state of the city of Atlanta as a whole.
Here he goes again.
This is really poignant analysis, Dylan. It seems like this episode is really important to your research. Thank you, host. And it's more than just important, it's my main exhibit. It really shows how the two media, Vice and hip-hop, work really well together. How is this so?
Yeah.
It's okay, you can go.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm fine here.
No, you should really go. We're having a conversation here.
Oh. Okay.
So, how do they work well together? Sorry. How do they work well together, the two mediums? Media.
What?
It's media, the two media. I don't know about that. Listen, man, it's media, dude. One medium, two media, three... media.
What?
What? Fine. How do the two media work well together? Well, I thought they worked because they were both like raw or real or something. But I mean, that was hardly something I could build an entire research presentation around. What caused you to do the project then? Well, my professor made me aware of a mantra that was pioneered by philosopher Marshall McLuhan. The medium is the message. Whoa. I know, it's pretty crazy, but it actually gave me academic backing in what I thought. So I knew my research would have to be focused on the messages in the media themselves, Vice documentaries and hip-hop. So what did you find? So millennials really like Vice and hip-hop, as I'm sure you know. But separately, I found that us young folk demand authenticity from our institutions, and both Vice and hip-hop are both very anti-institutional, and each are a very authentic medium. Media. What? It's media. What?
What?
Forget it. Anyway, I was able to find in my research that Vice is intrinsically authentic because of its cinematic aesthetic, which is very DIY, and its use of narrative, which makes things all the more real. You can't just distill a Vice documentary to having gritty cinematography and using a narrative. I mean, for analytical purposes, you kind of can. It doesn't take away from the Vice style, but just using those two things in your own documentary could easily achieve a lot of the same authentic messaging that Vice documentaries have. I mean, with just those two things, you could even do a parody of Vice. Huh. Well, this has been Vice Behind the Research. I've been your host. Thank you for watching.